Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where I talk about personal finance. Today I'm going to talk about writing off your business startup expenses. Before I get into the video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below saying I subscribe. I will try to personally reply to your comments. Let's get into the video. Unfortunately, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, many small firms have gone out of business. Fortunately, with the help of vaccines, new businesses will be opening as the economy returns to near normal. New business owners, especially those operating small businesses, may be helped by a tax provision allowing them to deduct up to 5,000 of the startup expenses and 5,000 of the organizational cost in the first year of the business operation. This type of expenses not deductible in the first year of the business must be amortized over 15 years. If a taxpayer who incurred startup expenses do not make the election, the startup costs must be capitalized, meaning that the expenses can only be recovered upon the termination or disposition of the business. Generally, startup expenses include all expenses incurred to investigate the formation or acquisition of a business or to engage in a for profit activity in anticipation of that activity becoming an active business. To be eligible for the election, an expense must also be one that would be deductible if it were incurred after the business actually began. An example of a startup expense is the cost of analyzing the potential market for a new product. Qualifying startup cost. A qualifying startup cost is one that would be deductible if it were paid or incurred to operate an existing active business in the same field as the new business, and the cost is paid or incurred before the day the active trade or business begins. Not includable are taxes, interest, and research and experimental cost. Example of qualified startup costs include surveys, analysis of potential markets, labor supply, products, transportation facilities, etc. Wages paid to employees and their instructors while they are being trained. Advertisements related to opening the business. Fees and salaries paid to consultants or others for professional services. And travel and other related costs to secure prospective customers, distributors, and suppliers for the purchase of an active trade or business. Only investigative costs incurred while conducting a general search for or preliminary investigation of the business. That is costs that help the taxpayer decide whether to purchase a new business and which one to purchase. Are qualified startup costs. Costs incurred attempting to buy a specific business are capital expenses that ain't treated as startup costs. Qualifying organization costs include fees for legal services such as for drafting LLC documents, partnership agreements, cooperative charter and bylaws, incorporation fees, temporary directors fees, and organizational meeting costs. As with most tax benefits, there is always a catch. Congress put a gap on the amount of expenses that can be claimed as a deduction under this special election. Here is how to determine the deduction. If the expenses are 50,000 or less, you can elect to deduct up to 5,000 in the first year. Plus, you can amortize the balance over 180 months. If the expenses are more than 50,000, then the 5,000 first year write-off is reduced dollar for every dollar in startup expenses that exceeds $50,000. For example, if startup costs were $50,000, the first year write-off would be limited to 1,000, which is 5,000 minus 54,000 minus 50,000. These limits applied separately for the startup and organizational costs. The elections to deduct startup and organization costs is made by claiming the deduction on the return for the year in which the active trade or business begins, and the return must be filed by the extended due date. The decision to write off these expenses should take in consideration other tax benefits available in the first year of the business, including bonus, depreciation, and SEC 179 expensing, and the overall result in the first year of the business. If you are starting a business, it may be appropriate to formulate a business plan in advance. Thanks for watching this video, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.